Hey, Amanda Johnson here, host of the Oracle Mornings podcast. Today we're talking about what a spiritual practice actually is, why it doesn't have to be complicated, and a few simple entry points that anyone can start with and no experience is required. Go ahead and take a listen. Welcome to Oracle Mornings, your daily ritual for inner connection and soulful insight. Each morning, we draw a card together to inspire your day with intention, reflection, and a touch of magic. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or simply seeking a moment of peace, you're in the right place. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's begin. Hello, and good morning. I hope you're all doing beautifully. Today we're discussing how to start a spiritual practice when you have no idea where to begin. So maybe you've been listening to episodes like this one and thinking, okay, I want this. I want to feel more connected, more grounded, more in tune with myself, and more aligned. But every time you try to figure out where to start, you end up doing nothing because it all feels like too much or it's just overwhelming. Maybe you feel like you don't have time. And there is a lot out there. Meditation, crystals, yoga, journaling, oracle cards, breath work, moon rituals, and the list can go on and on. And it can feel like you need a degree just to begin, but I promise you, you do not. Today, we're stripping all that way back and talking about what a spiritual practice actually is and why it does not have to be complicated, and also a few simple entry points that anyone can start with, and there's no experience required. I also have a card or two that I pulled for us today, and it is from the deck, The Spirit Animal Pocket Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. Two cards did pop out today, so I will be reading from them both because they're nice and short anyway. So, what is a spiritual practice? A spiritual practice isn't about doing everything right. It's more about showing up regularly and consistently in ways that help you turn inward and connect with yourself, your intuition, maybe with God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. And that is it. That's the whole thing. And this looks different for everyone, and there is no right way. For one person, it might be a morning walk in silence. For another, it's pulling an oracle card and sitting with it over coffee. For another, it's 5 minutes of journaling before bed. And that person or family that goes to church on Sundays, that's another version of this. And none of these is more spiritual than the other. And the difference between a walk and a spiritual practice is intention. If you're walking to get somewhere, that's a walk. If you're walking to clear your head, listen to yourself and feel connected to the world around you and nature, that's the practice. And you do not need to have all your beliefs figured out or need to align with a religion or a tradition. You just need to be willing to slow down and pay attention. That is honestly enough to begin. A 2-minute oracle card pull every morning that you actually do is worth so much more than an elaborate hour-long meditation ritual that you do once and then abandon. So I fully believe that starting small and staying consistent is the best way to build your practice, and the one that will make you start noticing the shifts the fastest. So why do we resist starting? We tell ourselves things like, I'll start when I have more time, or when I have a proper space, or when I know what I'm doing. And so we never end up starting because we all know perfectionism can be one of the biggest blocks there is to anything, and especially a spiritual practice. I know for myself, I had a friend come over who was so gung-ho on me having a meditation space that I did not start my practice until I could convert my closet to a little like altar area and a meditation pillow, and I had to have the right rug, and it took me way too long to get started when I got caught up in that. And now I barely even use that space because it was more about finding my center, my soul, than it was having the physical space around me be what it needed to be. So the same could be true for you. So when we compare our beginning to someone else's middle, maybe someone who's way further ahead of you on this practice, it can be something that slows you down, thinking, oh, that's such a beautiful altar, and they have a whole morning ritual, and you think, I could never do that. But you're looking at their years of practicing and comparing it to your day one, and that is just not a fair comparison for yourself. And some of us carry this quiet belief that spiritual practice is for people who have it more together than we do, and that we need to fix ourselves first before we deserve to connect. And that's absolutely not true. You probably need the spiritual practice more, or to be more consistent with it. But when we try to do too much at once, we burn out. We can get inspired and we buy all the things, we set up the altar and maybe even commit to meditating every morning. But by day 3, we've done none of it and we feel worse than before we started, because it's almost feeding your brain some kind of evidence that said, see, I tried this thing and it didn't work for me. So that moment in the car before you go inside where you just sit for a second, you know that moment? I usually take quite a few moments because sometimes it's my only solo time during the day. And then there are times where you talk to the universe when things get hard. You say, oh, please, God, help me out with this. Or maybe there's gratitude you feel when something beautiful happens. Those are all spiritual moments, and you may already have the seeds of a practice started. You just needed someone to help you recognize them. So I want to discuss some simple entry points to begin with. And some of these you may already be familiar with. And you don't have to choose them all. You can just choose one and see how it feels. Do it for a week. The next week, try something else and see which one gives you that hell yes feeling. So before you pick up your phone, before the noise begins, just sit for a few minutes and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Set an intention for the day. That's it. 2 to 3 minutes. That counts. And that can be your morning practice. Even just that few minutes of quiet before the day starts. You get to choose how your day starts instead of your text messages, emails, or phone calls ruling your day. And if you have maybe young kids who wake up really early, or for me, I have very young teenagers that have to be to school quite early in the morning, it just means I do have to set that alarm just that much earlier to get those few minutes in. And honestly, guys, if I can't, I schedule it for another time in the morning, because it's that important to have that control over your own day and your own person. Another practice you can do is maybe pull a card in the morning or the evening, whatever time works best for you, honestly. And ask the oracle card, what do I need to know today? And then read the message, and then notice what stirs within you and write down a sentence about it if you want to. Done. That's a complete spiritual practice. Oracle card pulls, one card, one question, one moment of reflection, and done. And you'll start to see all those synchronicities we discussed the other day start pouring in. And then another simple entry point is journaling. I have a love-hate with journaling because I don't know what it is. I get a little bit of a block when it comes down to sit and write, but as long as you just start writing something, I think you'll find your pen will just start flowing. And that is a great way that some people channel messages from the universe. It just starts pouring out onto the pages and they don't even realize they're opening it. So it's always so much fun to read back at what you've written and said, okay, what was the message? You don't necessarily need prompts or structures, even though I'm going to provide you with some. Sometimes you just need something to question or think on or feel into before you start writing. But honestly, you could just open the notebook and write whatever it is in your head, like stream of consciousness. Don't edit it. There's no judgment. And again, you'll be amazed at what comes out when you give yourself the permission to just write freely. Nature is another beautiful, beautiful entry point to spiritual practice. A short walk where you leave your phone in your pocket or at home, even better, and just notice what's around you. The lights, the sound, what you feel in your body. Nature has the best way of grounding us back into ourselves faster than almost anything. I know I was walking in the woods this morning. I'll just share a quick example. And for some reason, I was in kind of a bad mood this morning. But as I was getting back to my house, I heard a stream of water. And we have a small brook or stream out behind our house. And this time of year when the snow is melting, you can hear it rushing faster. So I just tuned into that sound. And before I knew it, I heard the breeze rustling in the evergreen trees here, and I heard the birds chirping, and I just came back to such a more centered feeling than I was when I started it. And it only took about 30 seconds, you guys. Again, keep it simple. It does not have to be overcomplicated. There's really no way to do it wrong when you're being present and intentional. Another great option is focusing on gratitude and the day with what was good, however small or big. Write down 3 if you can and make that a practice. So before you fall asleep, think of 3 things from the day that you're grateful for. The coffee that tasted good, that moment of quiet you got in the car, the text from a friend that just said, thinking about you, can't wait to hug you again. This practice rewires the way you see your life over time. It is definitely one of the most talked about ways because I think if you are thinking about getting a red car, all of a sudden you start seeing red cars everywhere. Or maybe you found a blouse you really liked and maybe you start seeing that everywhere. Gratitude is the same way. And you start intentionally noticing it, you will just keep noticing it. And that's a beautiful, beautiful practice to get in the habit of, because if you're having a hard time or there's something that you don't like that's going on in your life, you quickly remember all that you do have and all that you're grateful for. And just wanted to throw this in there that if you are looking for a container to hold all of this sort of new evidence or gratitude or reflections, I do have that daily Oracle journal for sale on either Amazon or Lulu Publishing. And I can throw a link for that into the show notes because it has a spot on the page for all of these things. So let's move on to adding in some more to the spiritual layer. Every time you show up for your practice, even imperfectly, you're saying, I believe there is more to life than what's on the surface, and I'm willing to explore it. And that is a profound act of faith and trust. And starting a spiritual practice is an act of trust. It's trust in yourself, and it's trust in something bigger and greater than you. So you don't have to lock yourself into one thing forever. Your practice is definitely allowed to change because there really are no rules. It's all about what feels good to you. What matters is that you keep this relationship alive. The form it takes will shift as you do, and the practice will evolve. What you need now is not what you'll need in a year because you'll be a slightly different person in a year from now. And let's be honest, we all know that you learn by doing. So every card you pull, every morning you sit quietly, every page you write in that journal, it absolutely teaches you something about yourself. And the practice reveals the path. You don't need the path to be revealed before you begin. As you take steps, the clarity will become more clear and the path will become more clear. So when you have even 5 minutes a day that are just yours, just for turning inward in connection, it changes the quality of everything else around you. As you expand your inner world, your outer world starts responding. You make decisions differently. You move through the hard things differently. You start to feel less at the mercy of life and more in relationship with it. And if you remember, in a few episodes ago, we talked about feeling lost. And then we talked about reconnecting with intuition. The next long episode after that, we talked about noticing the signs and synchronicities around you. A spiritual practice is the container that holds all of that together. It's where you bring all of the threads together. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our card reading for the day. I am pulling again, so just so you remember, from the Spirit Animal Pocket Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. Love the artwork in this one so much. And the cards I pulled, actually 2 jumped out, so I decided to read both messages. I pulled the Badger Spirit card and the Peacock Spirit card. So let's go ahead and see what these beautiful animals have to share with us today. Go ahead, take a deep breath in and out. Put your feet on the ground if you can, and close your eyes if it's safe. Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. Badger Spirit rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with Spirit is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form. The gift of Badger Spirit is the surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. You will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want. Be fearless and be bold as your purpose calls you. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. Take a moment to reflect on this message. I love that during our spiritual chat here in beginning your spiritual practice that this card came through, because there is fearlessness and boldness that sometimes is needed, and that courage when you're starting these practices and allowing yourself to really show up and be true and honest with yourself about what you're doing. So I love that this came through. I hope that it made sense to you and also gave you some surety, as it said, that when you're spending the time and working in a relationship with Spirit, that it's going to really pay off. So let's move on to the second card, which again was Peacock Spirit, and see what Peacock has to share with us as well as you begin your spiritual practice. So go right back into your deep breath. Peacock Spirit, let it shine. When is the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression, and you are called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are, for you are a manifestation of Spirit. Come out from the shadows, Peacock Spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own uniqueness and exquisiteness. Dance as if you remember how you were made of stardust and grace, filled with life force energy and sparkling light. You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being right here, right now. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. I'm going to repeat that line. That's a great one. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. Go ahead and take a moment to reflect. The idea and the concept is joy is definitely one we will be getting further into. I have another mentor and coach who says all the time that joy is the strategy. If you're not living from a place of joy, then why? Why do what you do every day? It's so important, and it aligns so beautifully with our authenticity and living from a place of wholeness when you can add play and laughing and silliness and all that comes with joy back into your life. So I love Peacock's message here because each one of us is unique and we are all someone, we're some of the one. And I love thinking of it as being all part of that divine orchestra of life. We each play our part. And the more we each play our part, the more beautiful it sounds. So you shining your light will inspire others to shine their light. And that's just going to be a domino effect that spreads so wonderfully. And if you just hold that vision in your heart of your light, lighting someone else's light, that lights someone else's light, and keep on going, it's worth taking back to the Badger message, that bit of courage and boldness to put yourself out there, to shine your light and shake your tail feather and just have fun with it. Now let's move on to some reflection or journaling prompts that you can use in your spiritual practice if they feel aligned for you. Number 1, what is one small thing I could do tomorrow morning before the day begins that would feel like showing up for myself? It doesn't have to be spiritual in a formal sense, just something that is intentional, quiet, and all yours. Number 2, what has been stopping me from starting a practice until now? And is that reason still true? Get honest with yourself here. Is it really that you don't have time? We all have the same amount of time in a day. You are so worth carving out this time. Or is it something else? Is it fear, unworthiness, perfectionism? Just notice it. You do not have to fix it today. Number 3, if I committed to just 5 minutes a day for the next week, what would I want those 5 minutes to look like? Keep it simple. One thing, 5 minutes, 7 days. See what happens. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you're sitting with today's episode and thinking, okay, something's definitely stirring in me, but I don't fully know what to call it yet, I've made something for you. It's a free guide called 5 Signs You're Beginning a Spiritual Awakening. And it's a beautiful little companion to everything we explored today and that we have been exploring. So you can grab it at the link in the show notes. It's completely free. You can also just head over to oraclemornings.com/awakening. Thank you so much for spending this time and doing this work with me. I hope that you feel the shifts happening in your life and are just so excited to live in more alignment with your beautiful self. Take care. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Oracle Mornings. Please take a moment and follow the show so you never miss an episode. Simply open the app you listen to podcasts on, such as Apple Podcasts, and hit the follow button. Your support means the world, and I'm so grateful that you choose to spend part of your day with me. And remember, you are a miracle.